Hey there. So today I want to talk about some games that we absolutely love to use in our school. Um, if you've been around here for a while, you know that one of the first series of videos that we put up was about Gameschooling because we absolutely love playing games in our home and in our homeschool. And this has just always been a big part of our day and a big part of our week and a big part of our life here. So I thought I would kind of break these up by subject and kind of talk about what we're liking right now. So, one of the things that I really like is as we get farther and farther along in math, there are more engaging math games. We, started with some of the really, preschooly math games, and they were cute for a time. But it's nice that math games kind of age up with you. So, one of our absolute all time favorites is Primeclimb. And I don't know if we're going to age out of this one. This one is really fun, even for grandparents to play. So it's just been fantastic. Versus the like dominoes games, those are more like actual school. Um, and you just kind of sit there and play it. You can play it with multiple people and it's a little bit more fun, but it's dominoes. Dominoes is not the most entertaining thing in the world for me. Even if you play like, what's the one my aunt likes? Mexican Train Game is a domino game. And you can play them with these different crazy fractions and algebra and telling time, and they have multiplication and division and all kinds of things. I just threw a few up there. And then they have some more creative ones over here. Um, Adsumudi, Adsumudi, I can't pronounce this one. Add some multiplication division, Adsumudi. We've played this with some cousins and it's been very fun. It's kind of a speed game, and so is Proof. So, Proof, my daughter really did not like initially, and now she's gotten better and better at it. But it's again like kind of a speed thing, and that can be really difficult when you're the only kid and you're playing against adults. But it's really interesting because it allows them to think about multiple step equations in their heads very quickly. So it's, you lay out an array of cards, you know, and you try to go say, okay, well, this card times this card plus this card minus this card plus this card minus this card gets me to this card. That's my line through it. I get all those cards. Those are my points. So it's pretty straightforward, but it is difficult and complex. So these are some math games that we're really liking right now. I'm sure they'll change and we'll like different math games in a couple years. But at this age, we're loving these. So history games are our jam. There is not enough room in any video for me to go through all of our history games, especially not in any detail. However, I do have in our Gameschooling playlist longer videos about some of our history games where I actually like open them up and get into them. So some ones that we've really been enjoying lately, so many, and I just threw a couple up here, but I don't think we're ever going to stop loving the Professor Noggins games. Those are fantastic. It's almost not even a game. It's really just trivia cards, but trivia cards on specific topics, and it's almost more fun the more often you play the same box, because then you get really good at it because you've started to memorize those answers, which is the point. But I am looking forward to a couple of the games that are more US history based, because that's the classical conversation cycle that we're going into this year. And we actually have some really good ones for like the explorers section. So that obviously is coming up first. So we're going to play Tortuga more and San Juan, and those kinds of era. It's just going to be a lot of fun. Um, I, I do wish there was a third outmatched game. So that's up here. And these are done by, I think it's Institute for the X. It, it, the two curriculum manufacturers that have like basically the same acronym. It's like IEW and EIW or something like that. Um, One of them made the Outmatch series, and they're fantastic. They're not super great for the little kids. I think you probably need to be upper middle school to high school for them to be excellent. But it's basically old maid with pretty detailed minutia history trivia. So we absolutely love those, even though there's not a Cycle 3 one, or at least not one that I own. I have Ancient Times and Medieval Times. I don't think there's a third one. If there is, I'll buy it because they're fantastic. Then these little card games. We haven't played these yet, the American history card games, but I saw them at a homeschool convention. So we got a couple. So I'm looking forward to those. Those should be fun. And then timeline. So the timeline challenge, and I've got another video that goes in on them to a greater extent. It's a fantastic board game, and apparently this board game is not super available anymore, so it's harder to find, but you can play it without the board. The board is really not particularly important to play the game because they have their tins with the cards, and then you can just play the different versions with the cards. So, guess how far apart these two cards are, and put these four cards in order, and different things like that. Here's one card. Guess the exact date on it. You just play the different things and you'll be fine. So those are some of the history ones. Go watch our longer videos on our history board games, because honestly, I could talk about these ad nauseum. They are that good. History board games are the best, and there's tons of them. Like, there's almost guaranteed going to be a history board game on just about any subject you want to dive into. We have tons for ancient history. I had to have somewhere for my little bubble to go on the slide, but we have so many for American history. It's nuts. So, yay, board games. So we absolutely love geography. We do a ton of geography in our homeschool. We always have a geography curriculum. We consider it one of the core subjects. One of the ways that we reinforce geography is through a lot of games. Now, we're going into Cycle 3 for classical conversations, so that's U.S. geography. We have a lot of the really basic, like get to know the 50 states, geography games, and they're fine. They're okay. They're not super fun. One of our absolute favorites is Explore the World. Now, that's not going to teach us U.S. geography at all, but it is a great cultural geography game, and it's very, very engaging. It looks more juvenile than it is. It's actually pretty high quality stuff. Then, a more interesting way to learn the 50 states is through trekking the national parks, and this other national parks board game we got. We went to a bunch of national parks one summer, so we ended up getting a bunch of national park themed games that year, and we have really, really enjoyed them. Trekking the national parks, you're interacting on a big U.S. map, so it's really easy to get that information and to learn that geography. Then we have more like trivia-based things. So we have a lot of the Professor Noggins games for geography, like all of their geography games. And then we also have these brain box games. and they're a lot of fun. The Brain Box games are more like short-term memory games. So you learn a little bit. I wouldn't say that you're actually like really learning the information on those, but it does help you with short-term memory and short-term recall really well. And if you play them enough, you're probably going to absorb some of that as well. So next we have our language arts games. Now, these are a little bit different. Most of the time when we do language arts games, it's Scrabble, Boggle, the pretty standard ones. I am including pop sight words up here for a weird reason. So my daughter still liked playing these even when she was too old for them. So what did we do? We changed them into grammar games. And now when you pull the word out, you still have to read it, but you also have to say what part of speech it is and use it in a sentence that shows what part of speech it's in. So we quite enjoy that. It's one of her favorite language arts games. So I love the ability to age these things up, because otherwise, pop sight words is like something that's going to work for like a year or two. Boggle is always a fun one. It's a good spelling game. And then as far as writing, Roll a Story is great. You can either have them actually write it out, or you can just roll it and tell a story, and that is fantastic as well. Finally, we have science games. Now we have a ton of science games, including so many Professor Noggins games. Periodic is a great one for learning the elements of the periodic table. Cellulose and Setosis are excellent higher level science games that get into the like minutia of how cells work, both in plant and animal cells. Subatomic is another, element game that's really fantastic. And then there are some that are more traditional board games that are a little bit less education based, but still fantastic. Wingspan is beautiful and probably one of the most popular board games right now. And it's just gorgeous, but it also has lots of great information about all the different birds that you're working with in the game. So as long as you're reading those, it is a science game. Photosynthesis is a very fun game. I don't think it actually teaches you that much about the process of photosynthesis, but if you were to pair it with actually, learning about photosynthesis, then yeah, it's a science game. I'll go with it. But it is gorgeous and a ton of fun. We have lots of other science games, but I'm trying to wrap up this video because I've gone on for a while and some of my videos are very long. So I'm trying to work on shorter videos. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed these videos about some games to add to your game school. Check out the rest of our game school playlist. We have a lot of games. So I hope you can incorporate more games into your homeschooling. And if you have any questions about any of these specific games, if you would like, open up the box, look around, it's my 3-year-old, style looks at some of these, I'd be happy to do them. Just drop me a comment down below. If you have any questions about them, drop me a comment down below. I'm happy to talk. Thanks. Bye. Hey there, you made it to the end of the video. Fantastic, and thank you so much. If you made it to the end of the video, you probably liked it, so you should go ahead and like and subscribe. Thanks so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.